Good evening and welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. US President Donald Trump has accepted a formal US transition should begin for President-elect Joe Biden to take office.
A very unfair act for the United
Mr. Trump said the federal agency overseeing the handover must do what needs to be done, but he hasn't conceded defeat and has vowed to keep contesting the election result. The General Services Administration said it was acknowledging Mr. Biden as the apparent winner. It came as Mr. Biden's victory in the state of Michigan was officially certified, which comes as a major blow to Mr. Trump. The president-elect will now have access to top security briefings, office space and government officials as he prepares to take office on the 20th of January.
The people of this nation have spoken.
Police in France have violently dismantled a makeshift migrant camp in the heart of Paris overnight, clashing with migrants and activists in the process. Dozens of small tents were removed from Place de la République in the centre of the capital, with occupants sometimes being forcibly removed by police. Police later used tear gas and chased people through the streets, beating some with batons. The new camp appeared a week after police had dismantled a bigger illegal migrant campsite near the French National Sports Stadium in northern Paris. Interior Minister Gérald Darmanin tweeted that some of the scenes were shocking and ordered the police to provide a full report of their actions. The United Nations has warned that greenhouse gas concentrations climbed to a new record in 2019 and rose again this year. That's despite an expected drop in emissions due to worldwide lockdowns. Many scientists expect the biggest annual fall in carbon emissions in generations this year as a side effect of the measures put in place to contain the coronavirus. But the UN described the projected 2020 as a tiny blip. According to the organisation, the resulting impact on the carbon dioxide concentration and global warming would be no bigger than normal annual fluctuations. Australia's airline Qantas will insist in future that international travellers have a COVID-19 vaccination before they fly, describing the move as a necessity.
That we will ask people to have a vaccination before they can get on the aircraft.
The Australian flag carrier's boss, Alan Joyce, said the move would be a necessity when vaccines are available. Australia shut down its international borders early in the pandemic and required those returning to quarantine. The country has more recently relied on lockdowns, widespread testing and aggressive contact tracing to push daily infections nationwide close to zero. China has hailed as a success its launch of a robot spacecraft to bring back rocks from the moon. The Chinese launch is the first bid by any country to retrieve lunar surface samples since the 1970s. The China National Space Administration called the launch a success and said in a statement the rocket flew for nearly 37 minutes before sending the spacecraft on its intended trajectory. The Chang'e 5 mission, named after the ancient Chinese goddess of the moon, will seek to collect lunar material to help scientists understand more about the moon's origins and formation. The mission will test China's ability to remotely acquire samples from space ahead of more complex missions. And finally, meet the South Korean mountain hikers who are making junk art to encourage others not to litter as social distancing measures drive more people from the cities to the hills. Clean Hikers is a group dedicated to picking up trash from mountain parks and turning the collection into art. The group's latest creation is a collage of a crying cat tagged with the slogan "Save the World" on the summit of Mount Mani on Ganghwa Island. Other works include collages made of discarded face masks, bottles, and even running shoes that depict a fish, bird, butterfly, and a boy. After the works are created and documented, the garbage is thrown away in proper rubbish bins or taken to be recycled. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel Studios in Lagos.